Welcome back to Brent's Hang. I'm Brent Barnett. It's that time of the month. It's our kit makeover of the month. This is the episode where you guys sent me videos and pictures of your setup, and I got to do it however I wanted. Well, not really. I had to keep all your stuff in the same spot, but I got to use all the hardware that I wanted to use. And you guys have done a great job sending me all this stuff, but you know what? I have to tell you, I've been kind of scared because you guys have sent me some massive size drum sets, and it's really kind of made me want to play the kazoo. No, I'm just kidding. I love playing drums, and I love being able to create different setups and use different types of hardwares. But anyways, let's see who our dude of the month is. Oliver Brent. So here's Oliver's setup. Starting with his drums, we have one rack tom, two floors, a kick drum, a main snare, and a side snare. This is a 14-inch auxiliary snare. Now for his cymbals, on his left side, he's got two crashes and a splash cymbal mounted to his main left crash. We've got a set of hi-hats. Now on the right side, we have a ride cymbal, we have a crash cymbal, we have an X-hat, and then we have a china, way far over to the right. Now he's got a few other accessories on this kit as well. He's got an electronic pad and he's also got an electronic module. So each one of these drums and cymbals has its own stand. Even the auxiliary hi-hat on the right-hand side has its own stand. Let's see if we can make this a little bit easier. So Oliver mounts his rack tom in a snare stand. For me to achieve this using a rack, I chose to use the GS VMS, which is the stealth rack. Now this is the version without the tom mount or without the snare basket. It just comes with two vertical uprights and a bent bar to connect the two. Now what I did in order to get the rack tom and snare so close together, instead of mounting the snare basket in the front vertical tom, I chose to mount it off the cross bent bar. So I could close the gap between the snare and the rack tom, and it also creates a really cool angle that you don't see very often. And it was also able to free me up for that front vertical bar to mount my crash cymbal. So the snare basket I'm using for the rack tom is the GU ASB. It's an ultra adjust snare basket. Everything on the left-hand side was attached to the side rack that I created using a back leg and a 46-inch curve bar. If you noticed his drum module, he had it clamped to his hi-hat stand. To add it to the rack, I used the SC EA100, which is an extension arm that has a rotating clamp on the end. Moving over to the hi-hat, I chose to use a no-leg stand so it completely cleaned the floor space up. Now I just attached it to the rack using the SCEA100, the same as what I was mounting my drum module with. This is the 9707 NLDP. Now to get my electronic trigger pad in here exactly where I need it, I used the SC4425D1. This is an accessory mounting post that has a long down tube, and instead of having a boom, like a cymbal boom, it has an L-rod attachment, which has a 9.5 millimeter post that you can attach cowbells or tambourines or even electronic pads like you see here. And I'm sorry, I just had to throw in Girbraltar stick holder. This is the SCSH. Now the auxiliary snare on the left-hand side is being mounted to the rack using the GU ASB, which is the same snare basket that I'm using to mount the rack tom. Now for my two crashes, I'm using the SC LBBT, which are long boom arms. I'm using a very low profile side rack on the left-hand side, so I needed them to help me get the height and the cymbals placed exactly where I need them. Now moving over to the right side, I was able to rack all of my cymbals onto a low profile side rack. Now to build the side rack, I used a 46-inch curved crossbar, and the legs I made out of the GSMP, which are a 14.5-inch bar with a rack mount attachment on the end so you can put booms inside the legs. Now I used large chrome T-leg assemblies for the feet. So the ride cymbal is mounted directly out of the front leg using the short boom, the SC SBBT. The crash cymbal is mounted to the crossbar with the long boom that we've already seen, and my china is mounted out of the back leg using the short boom as well. Now one of the main changes that have happened on the right-hand side of this setup is how the hi-hat's mounted. Oliver was using a hi-hat stand. I'm using a mini boom X-hat, which is the SC4425 XHMB. This is an X-hat that can be mounted directly to a cymbal stand using a clamp or a rack. It's very small and compact, and it's very easy to maneuver. Well, that's it for this month's episode of Makeover of the Month. Thank you for all your submissions, but you know what? Don't stop. Bring it on. I need more. We're doing these things once a month, and I can use as many as you guys can pile up on me. I love this stuff. Anyways, you can get in touch with us at brenthang.gibraltar@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.